Wow, what an amazing guest today. Today, I'm going to share the story of Dennis Wong. And Dennis and I have become friends over the past 3 years, and he is a highly skilled metabolic functional pharmacist in Winnipeg, Canada. But that's not what we're talking about today. What we're talking today is his story of growing up in a militant country without free speech, with people being shot in the street, not able to even have a party, and leaving at 19 years old, where he was allowed to leave with only $11. And he went to Canada, and he knew with vision what he was going to do. He was determined to be successful. And his story of overcoming pretty much anything that could have been thrown at him, language barriers, cultural barriers, having no money, which, by the way, he left this militant country as a middle upper class, showing up with $11. It is an incredible story, an incredible conversation. I highly implore you to listen to this interview. I think this is probably, well, it is my favorite interview to date. And I hope that you will learn a little bit more about Dennis Wong. I will put everything in the show notes so you can follow him and you can enjoy his energy, his mindset shifts, and really truly learn from such a beautiful soul. It is my pleasure to introduce my good friend, Dennis Wong. Well, hello, Dennis. Nice to have you.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. It's always fun to talk to you.
I love talking to you. And I actually, of all the interviews I'm doing this week, I was really looking forward to yours. And you know why? Why I really, really want to talk to you today is your story is so relevant to today. And I find that so many people don't do things because of this or that. Oh, I can't, make money because I come from, a poor family. Oh, I can't do this because of my gender, my race, where I come from, because so-and-so won't let me, whatever. We come up with all these excuses that we can't do something.
Absolutely.
And do a lot of blame. And your story, okay, guys, Dennis is coming from a militant country with $11 in his pocket, and becomes who he is today. And I want to dive into the struggles. I want to dive into what that was like for you, because I can't even imagine. So take us back. Were you born in Burma?
Yeah, I was born and raised in Burma. And just to give a perspective of the country, now it's military rules again. At this one point that, they got democracy. But I wasn't there anymore. And people say it's not bad, but I still don't believe it.
Yeah.
Because when I was born and raised, it's always a military rule. And to the point that there's no free speech. If you say something wrong about the military government on the street, when I was growing up, the next day you can disappear.
Are you serious? So you're just walking down the street, talking to your buddy, saying, "Oh, I don't really love so and so," and the next day you're literally gone.
Yeah.
How old were you? How long were you in Burma?
I left Burma when I was 19.
So I don't even know if you would have recognized this at the time, Dennis, but how you felt not having the freedom to speak, but you were raised in that. So did you know any different?
No.
Or were you it was just accepted and that's what it was and you didn't realize it till you moved? Or what did it feel like? Really?
Absolutely.
Okay.
We don't know, because when I was growing up at that time, military government also censor all the news. So none of the news going out. We got some, Newsweeks and Time magazine come in. Yeah. In Burma at that time, there's only one radio station run by the government. There was no TV until when I was 16.
Wow.
And the TV station was also run by government.
So you never...
No.
I mean, you weren't getting anything of reality. You were just getting whatever picture they were... It's almost like the Truman Show or whatever. What was that?
Absolutely, yeah. And it's but that, you always live in this constant fear, right? But because it's a norm, nobody really pay attention. Yeah, you just don't say things. You just don't do stuff. And then when I was 11 or 12, there was a student uprising. There was never been demonstration or uprising ever in Burma until that time because something triggered it. And that's a long story. That's another story itself. So something triggered it. So university students were demonstrating. They were marching on the street. And I was probably 10 feet away from them.
Okay.
And military came down the street on the opposite side with a live machine gun and bayonet and live ammunition. And the student was shot by the military at point blank range and bayonet alive until died. I saw that in front of me. That's when my stress level just went up.
Well, yeah, and people should know both of us treat adrenal fatigue, right? So
Oh,
why do
absolutely.
why do you end up in a stress? Your job you picked. Oh, how to manage
Yeah,
stress. I mean, oh my
yeah,
god. So you're 10 or 11 years old. You see this go down.
yeah,
You don't know any different because you're
no,
raised in this, so this is
yeah,
normal.
yeah.
Do you remember what that felt like or what you thought in that moment? Were you like, I need to get out? Or were you just like, oh well, like,
No, I ran and I hid. I ran home and hid. And I didn't want to go out of the house until the whole uprising was done. And that whole uprising took about 2 months. And
oh,
people are getting killed left, right, and center. And they don't have enough coffin, whatever. They come with the military, truck, big lorry truck, and then literally push these dead body onto the truck and then took it away and burn it somewhere.
oh my God.
Oh
So
yeah,
so you didn't leave till you were 19. So
yeah.
you
So
had
my
siblings. How many siblings did you have?
9, I'm the youngest.
9. Oh my gosh. Okay, and you're the youngest, you said,
I'm the
Dennis?
youngest. Yeah,
Oh, the
yeah.
baby. So
Yes.
how did that decision for everyone, did everyone leave or just you? Like how did that come about?
No, so before that, 2 of my brother came to Canada already.
Okay.
They've been kind of saying, this is way better. You guys should come, whatever. And my parents, because like I said, they're upper middle class, and they have their own business. Even though it's military country, they still were able to run the business. So they didn't want to leave because for them it's going to, Western country, different culture, different language, and so they don't want to start over again. And so they feel that the country, if you don't say anything bad and you do what you do, you are safe. And the we can grow up there safely. It's nice Asian country, right? Southeast Asia, warm, tropical. So they don't want to leave until these uprising happen. And they saw that too, and they're saying, if we keep staying there and if condition get worse, some of my son or daughter may get involved with the student side and they may get killed. That's when my parents' alarm went off and then started listening to my brothers in Canada saying, okay, I think we should leave. And so they decided, but it took, being military country, it took a while for us to get the permission to leave.
And when you left, you said like they only allowed you to have $11 or something.
Yeah, yeah,
So it's like they were
absolutely.
like, yeah, you can go, but here's 11, like you can only take $11. So you had to leave. And
Everything.
your parents came later, right? Did you come
Yeah,
first? So they basically had to leave every bit of earning they had ever made in
yeah,
Burma
yeah,
take $11
yeah.
each.
Yeah,
And
$11 each. So 4
so
of
they
us,
came with
my
22.
parents and one of my brother, and so 4 of us, so $44. Imagine that. We were so excited to leave, and then we get to Thailand, and then we had to stay overnight in Hong Kong
Okay.
with $44 for the dinner. Luckily, we were actually sponsored by Christian Refugee Association, so they give us a plane ticket. They give us a hotel in Hong Kong.
Uh-huh.
And we were supposed to provide it meal also, and the hotel actually didn't want to. because they consider us refugee. So they actually took us to street corner shop, and for 4 people, they order 1 plate of fried rice. I still remember to this day. And my mom couldn't eat because back home, because we're upper middle class, like we don't have to share one plate of fried rice for 4 people. We
Right.
can order one each, whatever. And so, and then the next day when we went back to airport from the hotel called us taxi, and then our luggage was loaded. Got to the airport. The taxi driver won't give us our luggages unless we pay him. He wanted $90 US.
Wow.
We have $44. And we're naive. We told him we have $44, so he took all $44.
So you basically had none.
Yeah, so from Hong Kong to Seattle to Vancouver to Winnipeg, like 4 more stops, we have zero money.
It's funny because a lot of people think, oh, somebody that creates success, they came from a poor scenario. You did, but you weren't used to that. You were used to having money, being able to do what you want to do.
Yeah.
So essentially, it's equivalent to us building a career and losing it all and having nothing and filing bankruptcy and having to rebuild all over again.
Absolutely.
And on top of that, you guys didn't speak English
No.
at all.
So when I came here, I went to 3 months of grade 11, and that's when I kind of learned English, a lot quickly, and then get into grade 12.
And you were in Winnipeg, so that you're not
Winnipeg,
learning French, you're learning English.
No,
It's
English, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know Canada overly well. I know I probably look like a dumb model right now,
Well,
but I am
well,
not
just-
good at geography. I lose in Trivial Pursuit every time if you ask me a geography question. I just did not retain that. I was like, why do I need to know this?
So we, like, Winnipeg is just straight north of North Dakota. So we're
Okay.
an hour from U.S. border.
Okay.
But I mentioned it before that winter time, it's really, really, really cold. It's like minus 40 degrees Celsius.
Yeah, you're insane.
Yeah,
I don't
and so,
understand
we came from a 110 degree Celsius tropical country.
it. Yeah.
Within 24 hours, we landed in Winnipeg with a minus 40 degree and blizzard outside. Imagine that.
I bet your whole family was like, what did we just do?
We didn't even know how cold it was, and we
Right.
couldn't feel anything. We were like, jet lag and everything, of course, but we're just so happy to get out of that
Yeah.
horrible situation.
Did you have a home to go to? Because your brothers
Yes.
were already
Yes.
there, right?
Yeah, one of my brother actually bought the house and take care of the mortgage and stuff. But then he's a mine geologist, so he lived up north, like 9 hours away, northern Manitoba. So he said, okay, you two look after mom and dad. I bought you a house. You look after your utility and your food and everything. So that's when we went out and trying to find a job, not speaking English properly and don't know anything. The job we found was a dishwasher job at a restaurant. We were so happy to have that job. So we worked as a dishwasher, both me and my brother, for until I graduated, well, until halfway through my university. Then I got because I'm in the pharmacy, I got a better job as a pharmacy assistant in the hospital. But for the probably 3 or 4 years, we worked as a dishwasher.
What's funny is you said, I was so happy to have that job.
Oh, absolutely.
And like I said, this is so relevant to today because we hear a lot, I can't. Oh, I'm better than that job. Oh, I can't do that. Oh, I'm not going to. People put up all these excuses in this flame. And even at that time, you were grateful. And I believe, as I know you do too, that people who's successful in life, people who turn their life around, come from a place of love and gratitude.
Yeah, absolutely.
They come from a place of serving and of making lemonade out of lemons and figuring out, okay, we're down. It's okay. We're going to build ourselves up. And I think that it's like I'm reading Think and Grow Rich, right? Which
Yeah.
most of us have
Yeah.
read. And
Yeah.
and he's talking about how that's how it goes. People who succeed fail
Mm-hmm.
or what's perceived failure and they don't stop. They
No.
just say, you know what? It's okay. I'm going to learn from this.
And
And for
keep going.
you to not speak English, have no money in your pocket, show up in a totally different climate, and then be grateful for a dishwasher, which most people would never want that job. They would turn it down.
Yeah.
They may go live in the street and panhandle before they would take a dishwasher job.
I know.
I just want to point out to everyone listening, that is an absolutely, Dennis, beautiful like lesson learn right there. Right there.
Yeah.
Gratitude for having a job, even
Yeah.
if it's not what you want to do,
No.
and being able to build a life from literally nothing.
Nothing. Yeah.
And a lot of people would say, well, how would he go to college? How would he become anything? He has no money. He works as a dishwasher. He doesn't speak English. Like, he doesn't like. So, how did that come about? Because you did go to college.
So that's again, it's the mindset
Yeah.
and what you learn and what you see, right? For me being number 9, I see all my brothers and sisters study hard and get into colleges and university and get the education. So for me it's okay, I'm starting over here in Canada, and I've been told that anything is possible, right? Even in the whole North America, I'm going to say this cliche, American dream.
Right.
If you put your mind and you work hard, and then anything you want, you can get. And
You
so
just have to know what you want. I think a
Exactly.
lot of people just don't know what they want.
No, and that's one thing I find it that, I talked to some parents just recently, and, they have a teenager and I have a teenager, right? So
Me
they
too.
say, oh, what your teenager want? And I said, well, I've talked to them since they were 10 or 11, and, they see what we do and they know what they want now. And the other father said, oh, my kids are 17 now and he still doesn't know what he wants, and I don't care, he can do whatever. I'm like, no, you need to give some direction. You don't
I'll
have to-
tell you though, Dennis, maybe you can give me some parenting advice, because my son's a junior and he's incredibly brilliant. He's so likable. He has 1,000 different skills. He's going to be successful. Like, I'm not worried about it.
Yeah.
But he's starting to apply to colleges. And I said, well, and he can't figure out where to go. And I go, well, what do you want to do? Well, I don't know.
Exactly.
And
You
I'm
need
like,
to talk to them,
okay,
right?
but like we have to do something. Like, we have to have some practical application of
Yeah.
this. I'm like, why would you spend essentially $60,000 a year to go to school when you don't know what you want to do? I'm like,
Yeah.
maybe you want to go work first. Maybe you want to take a few courses at the community
Yeah.
college,
Yeah.
save the budget, save your
Yeah.
pennies so that
And-
you can figure out what you want to do, because they've got this idea that they graduate high school and they have to have this college university experience, but they don't know what they're doing. And the practical
Then
side of
it's-
me is
yeah.
like, this
Yeah,
is
then
stupid.
it
Why,
doesn't make sense.
why would we
Yeah.
pay for this if we don't know what you're going to do?
Exactly. If you know what you want and what you want to do with the college degree, go for it, right?
Go for it.
So you need to
Yes.
talk to them and trying to help them figure out what they want. They don't want to go to college, fine, then what do you want to do? Because for me, it's you need the life skill
Yeah.
to survive, right? If you don't have a life skill, like, just because your parents doing good, that does not mean that you cannot just, do anything and sit around. Because sooner or later, you're going to have your own family. Then what do you do? So that's, what I,
And are you
Talk to-
willing to wash dishes?
Yeah.
Like, if you don't figure it out, and you're
Yeah.
that's fine if that's your
Yeah.
path, but
Yeah.
are you willing to take the
do that.
dishwasher job? Are you willing
yeah,
to take anything to make money to survive while you figure it out?
absolutely. And
Which
that's
is
the key.
huge.
You need to have something. And so, yeah, for me was looking at all my brothers and sisters, and I always wanted to be in medical field.
Okay.
And so when I was in high school, in biology class, we had to do, dissecting stuff, and I loved that. And one section, I still remember that we got this little baby shark, and we have to dissect the brain out.
Yeah. Yuck.
And nobody wanted to do it, but I'm in there, and everybody's like, you should be a brain surgeon. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to be a brain surgeon. So, that was my thing going into university. I'm going to be a brain surgeon. But then my brother wanted to be a pharmacist. But he worked more than me. At one point, he was doing 3 part-time jobs so that I only have to work 1 job and I can study. So he can cover more of the expenses. So with that, his grade in university were not as good as he wanted to be. He wanted to be in pharmacy and he applied twice. Because I was still in high school and he was already in university, he applied twice. He didn't get accepted. So when my turn to able to apply, he filled out the form and he said, you should be in there. I'm like, no, I don't want to. I'm going to be brain surgeon.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to med school. I'm not applying for pharmacy. And he filled it out. He made me sign it the day, the deadline. So I said, okay,
Yeah.
amuse him, I'll sign it. So he handed in his application and mine. I got accepted. He did not. He was so happy that I got accepted.
It sounds like it was such a supportive relationship,
Yes.
just so like we just want our family to do well and not just me. It wasn't, there was no, if anything, you guys weren't selfish enough, right? Like,
No.
So, because there was no self-care there probably. So you probably
No.
had to learn that on your own, right?
Exactly.
But-
exactly. Because when we came, just him and me, right? We become closer than brother. We became good friends. We can talk about everything. We talk about our stress. We talk about, we support each other. So that bond is there. So when I became a pharmacist, actually my brother was really down. And again, he was willing to just go to odd job if needed to. And I know that he's really good with numbers. So I said, you know what, why don't you go talk to engineering? Because I know that's what you love. And so he's like, my marks are not good. I said, go talk to them. So he went and talked to the engineering, and he already finished the 4th year of biochemistry, and he was trying to get into master degree, and his marks were not good enough, so they wouldn't accept him. So he went and talked to engineering, and they looked at his mark and they said, if you're willing to start from 2nd year, we will accept you, because transferring the grade, even though biochemistry grades are not the best, your grade actually come in as a B+ in engineering. So we'll accept you. So he went back, but then he said, then I can work because I have to study. And I'm like, I just graduated from pharmacy. I'll pay for your degree. So I literally pay for your tuition, because he was working a lot to cover my, tuition and stuff. Like, hey, we help each other out. So that's the thing, though. It's, even though we're doing all these things, it's a mindset, right? Like you said, people out there, no, I'm not going to be dishwasher. I'm going to go panhandle. Well, what is better? You want to be on the street all the time, or you go in and do dishwashing job and you can earn better? You
can meet people that you
absolutely.
can move up. You can.
I've learned a lot. I learned a lot about, Canadian culture working as a dishwasher.
Oh, yeah.
Because I know nothing, so I've listened to them. They tease me because I don't understand, and I didn't get mad. I just laughed at it without knowing what they said or what they, teasing me. And then they explained it to me, and I laughed more. And they thought, I'm really, other people, they tease that much, get mad and kind of yell at them. I didn't. So we became friends, and they taught me a lot about, the whole Western culture. Believe it or not, when I was working as a dishwasher there, that's when the first time I know about party. I was invited to go to house party after work, after midnight.
How is that?
I'm like, what is this? I'm never...
You never went to a party? There were no parties growing up?
It's illegal.
It's illegal to party?
Yes.
Like a
Yes.
birthday? Oh, what? Like a birthday party? No
Well, you
party.
can have a birthday party and stuff at home, but there's no bar or dancing or anything. Western dancing is illegal back
Oh,
then.
like, oh my gosh, like Footloose.
Yeah,
Have you seen that?
yeah.
Oh yeah. Like, okay, okay. Being a dancer,
So
now my heart is crushed.
I know.
It is full on crushed that people cannot dance.
Imagine that. I came from that kind of culture all the way to, you know, bars and nightclubs and, house parties. And I'm like, what is this? Like in high school, one of my best friends, like, I got to know a few friends that one of them, this girl lived just down the street with me. So we walked to school together, came back, walked back together. And I never knew anything about dancing and parties. So one day she asked me, saying, there's a school dance on Friday night. Would you go with me? And I said no, because I don't know what that is.
You're like, I don't know what you're talking about. So
No,
how was it? So you go to this house party. How old were you? College?
I was 20,
Okay.
the
So
first time to the party.
so you go to this party and like did you like hide in the corner or were you
I
like
just
on the
stand
table
there.
dancing
I
like
just
this is the
stand
best
there.
thing
No,
ever?
I just stand there quietly. They give me a bottle of beer. I just hold the beer the whole night listening to them, and that was fun.
That's like a whole new world for you,
Oh,
Dennis. That's
absolutely,
awesome.
absolutely.
Do you dance at all now?
Yes,
I
I
know.
do.
So you figured it out. You learned how to
Yeah,
dance. See,
yeah,
anyone can learn how to dance at any age. That's
exactly.
crazy. So you graduated pharmacy. Did you work for other people as a pharmacist first, or did you just go right
Yes,
into your own
yes.
thing?
So when I was in the pharmacy, my mind still was that, that I want to be a physician type of thing. So I know that, okay, pharmacy tough. So I'm like, I'm not going to go into medicine anymore after finishing the pharmacy. So my mindset was that I want to work with patients. I want to help people better.
Yeah.
So the first job I took was not in the city, but I went to small town. I figured the small town, closer community, you can talk to them better. I chose the wrong community. I
Oh.
learned a new thing that I went to the Mennonite community. And they are very close-knit community. I'm the only Chinese in town.
So here you are again, being dropped in somewhere as like the only dude that looks like that or acts like that or whatever, trying
Yeah,
to figure out how to fit in. Okay, so
all
it didn't
learning
work.
experience.
So it didn't work out.
Didn't work out. I lasted a year, and then I decided to come back to the city. And then at that time, believe it or not, pharmacist jobs are not that popular. There's
Yeah.
not easy jobs. So I went and talked to the one of the drugstore chain, and I said, I need a job. And they said, if you can cover holidays for the pharmacist, then you got a job. I said, fine. So for a year, I go to different locations throughout the city, covering a week here, a week there, 2 weeks here, 2 weeks there. And again, I got to work with different people. I got to work with different staff. I got to work
Yeah.
with different pharmacists. I got to work with different patients.
Yeah.
Again, I'm learning more and more about the whole human interaction and, how to adapt and adopt to the environment. And so that actually really, and then after a year, I did it good that they actually gave me a full-time job.
And you just said, I got to, I got to, I got to. And most
Yeah.
people would say, I had to. I had to work that shift. I had to deal with all these
No.
people. I had to drive all over. And you're saying, I got to. I got to drive
Yeah.
all over. I got to meet all these people.
Yeah.
Dennis, like your words matter.
Absolutely.
And you're right. You got to do all that. And that's awesome.
Yeah.
And that gave you, so now you have a full-time position. And this was
Right.
this wasn't a compounding pharmacy, right? This was just a
No, it's a
standard.
regular just dispensing pharmacy.
Yeah.
And I got to this full-time position and in a really rough neighborhood.
Oh, fun. Okay. I'm sure we got some stories out of this
Oh
one,
yeah,
Dennis.
yeah.
Okay.
Every day people will come in and with the forgery prescription, like for example, diazepam.
Uh-huh.
The doctor wrote 30 tablets. This lady came in, gave it to me, I looked at it, different pen, said 300 tablets. 30 was in blue ink. The second zero was in black ink. I'm like, how come it's different ink and how come it's 300 tablets? I know doctor will not give you diazepam 300 tablets. And she said, oh, I dropped the prescription outside and the guy grabbed it and won't give it back to me. And I had to beg him. And he put out the pen and put another zero on. I'm like, then why didn't you tell me when you handed it in? Oh, I was in shock.
Okay. And so did you give her 30 or none?
None.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you. And you know, it's funny, little
Yeah.
pharmacy story. Well, I won't even go into the personal story of me, but
Yeah.
it's like how fast they give out opioids and things to
Oh,
teenagers.
absolutely.
For like root canals, for
Yeah.
like surgery. My husband had
Yeah.
surgery and it was like he had Percocet. He had like 30 Percocet, but like, and antibiotics, whatever. But like when we asked for ibuprofen, they were like, what?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't want to fill this.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, just fill it in case you need it. I'm like, no,
Yeah.
I'll hang on to the script.
Exactly.
If I need it, I'll fill
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
But it is crazy, at least here, how easily that is handed out.
Yeah.
But how much, I guess, flack we get
Yeah.
for recommending ashwagandha
Oh, absolutely.
or rhodiola.
Yeah.
Or vitamin C,
Yeah.
you know, for adrenal function. You and I come out, we talk about stress, we talk about the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. We talk about calming the brain with mindset exercises like breathing. There's
Yeah.
tons of research, as you know, on reducing
Absolutely.
pain
Yeah.
with literally just breathing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yet we come out and it's like, oh my God, how could you talk about that? Yet these scripts are being handed
Handed
out.
Well, you know, right now fentanyl's a big thing, right?
Yep.
When it came out, oh, it's the like so good of the painkiller, and I'm shaking my head. Now they can't stop people from, you know, abusing it because it's so addictive. So that's why when I was seeing these patients,
Yeah.
I got to learn again what not to do
Yeah.
if I really want to help patient. So that's where lead me to in a few years, like 5 years after that, after I got married, my wife Cindy, you know her.
Yeah, I was going to say,
classmate-
where did Cindy come in?
Yeah, so Cindy came in first year university.
Okay.
She and I was in the chemistry lab because her maiden name, last name is Yap, Y-A-P. My last name is Wong. So in the lab, we're, you know, close on the
Yep.
lab bench. And my high school buddy was her lab partner. And so my high school buddy always come and talk to me and ask me questions because they know me as a lab rat. I like all these, you know, lab stuff. So maybe that's why I got into pharmacy. It's meant
Yeah.
to be.
It was meant
And
to
so he came and asked me all the time. So Cindy actually did not like me because her partner always talking to me and she ended up doing all the lab herself. So the first year of university done and she thought, okay, great. I don't have to deal with Dennis anymore. Guess what? She got into pharmacy the same years as me. With the same close last name, we are in the lab, the same bench again. This time she and I are a partner now.
I did tell me you ended up at a party together.
I asked her and she refused. Believe it or not.
Is she Canadian?
She was
Born and
born
raised?
and raised in Malaysia. So
Okay.
she came to Canada just 2 years before me.
Okay.
And she was very determined. When she came to Canada, she knew that she wanted to be a pharmacist. So for her, when she got into pharmacy, there was a pharmacy, you know, student party Friday night. And I asked her, I said, would you go with me? She said, no, I don't party.
Of course she doesn't.
I know, you know. So, But then when I came back to the city and when I was working for this company and when I got a full-time job, within a few months, there was manager position open up. So the company came to me and said, we like what you're doing. We want you to manage the store. So I became a store manager, and Cindy was store manager at another store. So we actually end up talking to each other, calling each other. How do you do this? What do you think of that? Sharing information and helping each other out because we're classmates. And we actually end up talking to each other every night, 7 days a week for at least an hour or two. Just talk shop. Nothing else, just, your patient experience and your prescription experience and all of that. And then later on, she had to go to this wedding dinner, and she needed a date. And she called me. Would you be my date? I'm like, okay. So after that, we started dating. So it's
and now you run a pharmacy together.
yes. So after we got married, we both worked for a company for another a year, and I got frustrated because my mindset is, why they keep taking this and nothing's getting better? I see people getting worse. I see people on diabetic medication and their insulin, sugar levels are getting worse and worse and worse. Hemoglobin A1Cs are going up. Like, what the heck's going on? I want to do something better. Not that I know what to do better, but I know I can do something better. And so I said, if I had my own pharmacy, I don't have to answer to corporate. I don't have to answer to anybody. I just have to work with patient and figure out what they need. And if I spend too much time, nobody's going to yell at me because I'm the boss. So I told Cindy, let's open the pharmacy. And she didn't want to. She was working for, at that time, we both left the same company. I worked for Shoppers Drug Mart, which is similar to Walgreens,
Like Walgreens,
up in Canada. And she worked for Walmart Pharmacy.
Okay.
And so she's like, at that time, pharmacists' job were on demand, a lot of demand. So she said, pharmacists will never get laid off. So she said, I'm going to stay here. You can go open your own pharmacy. I'm like, no, I don't want to, unless you're going to be in it. So I keep praying, and I keep looking. And a year later, she was working at the Walmart nursing home division, and Walmart sold off the nursing home division. Guess what? She got laid off. And then the new company that bought the nursing home division hired her. When they were working at the Walmart for the 13 nursing home, there's 3 pharmacists and 3 assistants manage that. When the new company bought all 13 nursing home, they only hire Cindy.
Oh, Lord.
Yes.
That's a burnout.
Yes. And did she ever? And even then, she was not ready. But then one weekend, and if I cry, stop me, because it's a hard story. Yeah. One weekend on Saturday, she was on call as a pharmacist for the nursing home, and we were on the way to church. Like, we just, got out of the house and get in the car, and she got paid. She said, oh, I got to go back in and call them. At that time, there was no cell phone. So she went into the house. She called the nursing home and talked to the nurse, and the nurse said, we got a palliative care patient, ran out of morphine, and he's in a lot of pain. Can you page the palliative care doctor, get the prescription, and get morphine? Yeah. She said, okay. So she paged the doctor. There's no answer. Left a message. We wait and wait and wait, and took about an hour until the doctor answered. And the doctor said, oh, I was out with my family for brunch, so I decided not to answer. I'm like, okay. He said, I'm home now. Come to my house. Come grab the prescription. So we said, okay, great. So Cindy and I was ready to leave. She got paged again. So she went and called the nurses from the nursing station saying, okay, I got your page. I just got a call back from doctor. I'm on my way to get the morphine. Silent on the other side.
Oh, man.
Yeah. And then the nurse said, don't bother, the patient died.
Dennis, just watching my family die. I mean,
Yeah.
I've watched my family die.
It's hard.
And imagining, when I said goodbye to my mom, she was very comfortable. She was alert, but she was not in pain.
Yeah.
And I mean, not 100% alert, because
Right.
obviously she
Right.
had medication on board,
Yeah.
but enough to say where when I was walking out of the hospice room, I said, I'll be back in the morning with the grandkids.
Yeah.
And she looked at me and she said, no. And I held her hand and I said, do you not want me to bring the grandkids? And she just kind of looked at me and I said, do you think you won't be here? And she nodded her head. And I said, I love you. And she squeezed my hand and I left. And I can't imagine her going through that process
In pain.
without medication.
Yeah.
And I just watched my stepdad go through the same thing where we had
Right.
to medicate him. And
Yeah.
I said goodbye to him and how much pain he was in
Yeah.
because he actually refused it because he was a stinker. Military, I'm going to
Right.
do this on my own.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to give me
Yeah.
pain meds.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
even though for weeks I was like, he kept saying, I'm in so much pain. I can't get off the couch. I can't walk. I can't go to the bathroom. I'm in really a lot of pain. And finally, it was about 24 hours before he died. He called me and he said, you know what, Trisha, I'm in really a lot of pain. And I said, maybe you should consider actually taking the pain meds from hospice now. And
Yeah.
he did. But his pain was so severe. And I don't, like, that's just heartbreaking. So she was probably like, forget it. I'm not doing this anymore.
Yeah. So she turned around to me and she said, I have a question. I said, yeah. She said, if we own our own pharmacy, how do you handle this situation? And I said, I will get the morphine to the patient first and I'll deal with the prescription later because this is a real need.
Yeah.
This
Yeah,
is
I mean,
not.
somebody's dying. I mean,
Yeah.
for God's sakes.
Yeah.
It's like,
Exactly.
they're not faking it.
Who's gonna blame me for
Yeah.
taking the morphine to the patient when they're dying and they're in pain? Like I said, I'll deal with it. So she said, when can you open?
And how soon were you open?
I've been working on it for a year, 3 months.
Good for you.
And there's a little glitch again, mindset and, what you want to do and how you're going to make it. I actually got the space ready to rent on the main thoroughfare that people can see our pharmacy. And I negotiated everything and landlord said, okay, come on in. At 1 o'clock, we're going to meet at the mall. We're going to sign the lease, 5-year lease. I'm like, great. I got there. The landlord did not show up.
Oh.
I waited for half an hour and then I left and called the landlord at home. And I said, what happened? And landlord said, oh, a friend of mine is a pharmacist who used to own the pharmacy. He just sold his pharmacy to Safeway because he cannot compete with Safeway anymore. And he told me that don't give you a lease because your pharmacy is not going to last more than 3 months.
How many years have you been in business, by the way?
November will be 28 years.
Nah. You showed
I'm
them.
like, I show you.
I love it.
You can tell me, coming from, I can do whatever I want to $11 coming to Canada and work as a dishwasher for 3 years to get through high school and university and put food on the table for my parents and, all that. You can tell me that after I'm now pharmacist and earning good amount of income, you can tell me that I cannot open my own pharmacy to help patient. That's always what my goal is. And I'm like, I'll show you. So we actually found a space only 10 feet wide. Imagine that, and 50 feet deep. And Cindy and I Cindy designed it. I told her what I want. I'm a visionary. She executes. So she draw up this design for pharmacy. We had full-fledged pharmacy. When we started, we had diaper, we had feminine product, we had berry, we have chips, and we have all the pain meds, cough medication, you name it. And I even I was the first independent pharmacy in Winnipeg that put in the self-testing blood pressure machine.
Ah. That's
I
awesome.
saw that in Shoppers and I said, I want that. I can talk to the patient about their blood pressure when they come in and do this. I
And
loved it.
was it compounding from the get? Because you compound
No,
now. So this
yeah,
was the original, just normal
yeah,
pharmacy,
normal
and over the
pharmacy.
years, it
Yeah,
turned into compounding.
yeah. So what I did was, because I want to serve the patient, I actually did the glucose testing in my pharmacy. Anybody want it? I test it. I explain it to them. So people got to know us that we spend time to talk to people. So Cindy and I will talk to patients about their medicine, whatever, and then we started looking at, okay, what else? Because we're seeing, like, arthritis patient on naproxen, 2 years later got a high blood pressure, and arthritis not better.
Yeah.
Or what else can we do? So we started learning and keep moving and moving and learn about more about the herbal medicine, and then we got into compounding, and we got into functional medicine, and we got into A4M, like fellowship, anti-aging, metabolic, all of that. And then 10 years ago we started our nutritional company because with compounding pharmacy I started doing the wellness consult back in 2004 because people were coming to you, and because traditional medication's not working, you're doing compounding stuff for them, still not working. What else? Then I'm like, let's sit down, let's figure this out, let's talk. So
There's a
like
novel idea. Let's actually talk to our patients
exactly,
and actually listen to what they say. How about that?
absolutely. And so it's been great. We had loyal customer that started with us 27 years ago. Yesterday, I just saw a mom and daughter came into the store, and I came out of my office and I talked to them. And I looked at the daughter and I'm like, I shook my head and she smiled. And mom said, I know. When you guys opened, she was yay high. Like she's taller than me,
Yeah.
and she's a registered dietitian.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'm like, I'm seeing these kids growing up and becoming something, in front of my eyes. And I'm like, I'm glad I'm part of their life and they still come to us. And so it's, a couple of things for me that big lesson learned is that mindset is a huge thing. And if you have the mindset, then sometimes you have to burn the boat that there's no return, right? When I came to Canada, there's no way that I can go back. And there's no way that I see what I see here. I'm not going to go back. So I see people like on Facebook and stuff sometimes saying, oh, we won't do this job. Like you said,
Yeah.
I'm not going to be dishwasher. Well, if you have nothing, you got to do what you got to do. And I'm happy that I got the opportunity to come here and I got the opportunity to work with different job and different people and learn from it. It just makes you richer. If you don't want to do it, and people said, oh, I'm not going to do this, I'm just going to stay here. Guess what? The time is moving forward. You're
I
not
say that
staying
all the
here.
Yeah, the time's moving. You're
Yeah,
either going to move with it or
yeah,
you're going to be in the exact same place a year from now
yeah,
that you are right now.
yeah.
And I don't personally want to be in the exact same place
No,
next year at this time.
no.
I want to be further down wherever
Yeah,
my life is taking
yeah,
me. But I think you're right in the mindset. And I even go back to the militant country. You had no free speech.
yeah,
The media was leading everything. And I see how confused, at least in America, how confused our media is, how we get
yeah.
different stories, how it's all clickbait. Even medicine is clickbait.
Oh,
You
yeah.
scroll through Instagram and it's like, get rid of 5 pounds in 3 days, click
Yeah,
here. And I'm
yeah,
like, this is people telling us what to think, telling us, modeling something that we don't want to be,
yeah.
modeling what we're supposed to look like, what we're supposed to say. And what an interesting perspective you come from, because I was obviously born in America. So I'm kind of like you when you were born in Burma. I don't know any different, right?
Right. Yeah,
I do know what's different in the last 10 years since the onset of social media, since the 20
yeah,
years, onset of social
yeah,
media, onset of cell phones.
yeah.
Obviously, we don't have all day to talk about stress, but we both know how that impacts
Oh,
our nervous
absolutely.
system.
Yeah,
And, I think we forget
yeah,
that it could be a lot worse.
Oh, absolutely. And the the key thing again is, like you said, be grateful for what we have for the moment, right?
And give.
And give. And that's the key thing to it. And if, anything that did not work out, one door closes, one door will open.
Yep.
When the door open, my question is, are you willing to walk through?
And that's a risk.
That's a risk. A lot of people don't want to take it. But, that the other door is closed. You have nothing to do. You can't do anything. So
Yeah.
why are you getting upset about? I see a lot of people get upset about, I should have, that should have, all they should have, could have, like shooting themselves, shoot them themselves. But ignore that opportunity and don't take that risk. And a lot of people want to be always perfect and afraid of failure. For you and me, we've learned it, I know you for 3 years now, and we've learned it that there is no failure. It's just learning opportunity.
And there's no
Right.
perfection either.
No, there is no perfection.
Failure doesn't exist. Perfectionism doesn't exist.
No.
Growth
Growth
exists.
exists. Yeah. If you learn from it, you will grow. If you take that risk, it work out great. If it doesn't work out, you're going to learn from it and you're going to grow even better. When everything going smoothly, your growth is slow.
Yeah.
When there is resistance, exercise, right? JJ always said, weight and whatever, you have to have exercise and resistance. If you don't get the resistance, we all know that when people saw JJ Virgin on the, screen, her arms and everything. Well, she does the resistance training.
Yeah.
Without that resistance,
I
you're
know I
not
got to
gonna.
work on mine.
I know, me too. So, everything in life, there need to be a bit of the resistance. Without that, you're not going to grow. And
Well, and you said something very important there is that you walk through that door, you take that risk.
Yeah.
And most people say, what if I fail?
yeah,
And you might.
yeah.
It might
There's no
not work
guarantee.
out.
Yeah,
But the outcome is positive either way. Because if you fail, you're going to learn what not to do. And you're going to
Yes.
learn what you really want.
yes.
And if you succeed, then great.
Great,
Right?
absolutely.
But either way, it's a positive outcome. You
Yeah.
have nothing to lose
Yeah.
by taking a risk if the risk aligns with your heart, your soul, and your mission and what you want to do with your life. And it goes back to being younger when we were talking about you have to have a vision, you have to know what you want.
Yeah.
If you don't know what you want, then don't invest money in it.
No.
Like, I'm not going to invest $60,000 a year in a university for my son if he doesn't know what he wants.
Yeah.
Now, if he comes to me and says, Mom, this is what I'm going for, I'm all in.
Then, yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
in.
Yeah.
There's no question. And I think we wait for the world to tell us what we want. And that's why it's not working.
Exactly.
Folks, it
Yeah.
doesn't work if you wait for other people to tell you what you want.
Yeah.
You have to know what you want, and you have to want it so badly that you will do whatever you have to do
To get it.
to get there. And when I say whatever you have to do, I want to be clear because a lot of people interpret that as stepping on other people or putting down other people or rolling over other people.
Yeah.
That is not what I mean by that. I'm meaning you give your heart, your soul, your love, your gratitude to the world
Yeah.
and open yourself up to receive.
Yeah.
That's what that means when I say anything. You'll work as a dishwasher to pay the bills so that you can pursue something else. It does not mean you take someone else down. It does
No.
not mean you come at them from an angry place or a place of blame
Yeah.
or you defriend them or like all this stuff we do. I'm like, oh my Lord,
know.
we're wasting so much energy.
I
Like,
know.
what if we all just came together and supported each other
Yeah.
with love and gratitude?
Oh, it'll be a lot beautiful.
Well, Dennis, I have so much love and so much gratitude for you.
Thank you.
You are a beautiful human. So is Cindy. You are beautiful, giving, loving humans. And my life is 100% touched by knowing you. So
Thank you.
thank you for being my friend. Thank you for being here because your story, I mean, I don't see how anyone could walk away from this interview and not have gratitude for everything that they have in their life right now, because you have come from literally everything to nothing
Nothing. Yeah.
and then back up. And I'm so grateful for you, Dennis. First of all, I want people to know where to find you. So
Yeah.
tell people where to find you. And then any final words you have for everyone out there. You've given so many.
They can find me at my website. It's .sinden.com, CINDEN.com. And that came about because it's Cindy and Dennis.
Ah, I like it.
Yeah. And my final word is, live in the moment, be grateful, and be kind.
I mean, exactly. Dennis, thank you so much.
Thank you, Tricia.